Aye.
Councilmember Tomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond,
Aye.
Vice President Niskowski.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Thank you. The approval for the June minutes has passed. We are going to move on to special business. Under special business, it was put out, there was a special resolution for Congresswoman Jackie Walorski. At this time, Councilman Eli Wax was unable to attend this and was part of this special resolution, and he has asked this to please be pushed back to the next regular meeting. So that will be at our next meeting, will not be read at this meeting. So if you were here to hear that special resolution, that will be at our next meeting. There are no reports from city offices. So at this point, I'll now entertain a motion to resolve into the committee of the whole.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Clerk Jones, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Lee,
Aye.
Councilmember Warner,
Aye.
Councilmember White,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond,
Aye.
Vice President Niskowski,
Aye.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Thank you. Pastor Lee,
Yep.
okay.
All right. The committee of the whole is now in session. This is the portion of the council's meeting where bills are given a second reading and public hearing. I wish to share with you that bills that will be given a second reading and public hearing have been given a first reading and set for committee meeting and public hearing prior to this evening's meeting. In addition, you will hear from the chairperson of the committee where the bill was discussed and the results of their discussion. If the proposed ordinance is a zoning ordinance, a report from a staff member will be given. In all other situations, the formal presentation on the proposed ordinance will immediately follow the committee report. The formal presentation shall be untimed. Earlier today, we had Bill 30-22 that has been rescheduled. Do we need to do anything on that at all?
No, I would just mention 3022 and 3622 were both tabled.
Yes. 30-22 and 36-22 were both tabled. So now we will go to Bill 38-22. Clerk Jones, would you give 38-22 a second reading?
Yes. 3822, public hearing on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the zoning ordinance for property located at 232 LaPorte Avenue, Councilmanic District Number 1, in the city of South Bend, Indiana.
Is there a committee report?
Yes, the Zoning and Annexation Committee met this afternoon and sent this bill to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Is there a petitioner present? I ask that you state your name and address and share with us key points regarding the bill that's before us.
Good evening, Angela Smith, Zoning Administrator for the City of South Bend. Office is located on the 14th floor of this building. The property requested rezoning is 232 LaPorte Avenue, requesting to go from U1 Urban Neighborhood 1 to U2 Urban Neighborhood 2. The U2 districts are kind of missing middle or gentle density kind of district that would allow for up to 4 units per property. The house is an existing home on LaPorte Avenue, and the property owner actually owns this house and the 2 vacant lots south of the house. The surrounding properties in the area are all zoned U1 Urban Neighborhood 1. And as I mentioned, it's an existing residential structure. The residential structure has been occupied by 2 to 3 units for quite some time. We found a point in time when the 2 units was legalized, but we haven't been able to find when the 3rd unit was legally installed. And to bring the property into conformance, the property owner has chosen to properly rezone it to the U2 district. Also, before you include it in that ordinance, which I believe is a substitute, but I don't know that we acted on a committee. It is a substitute ordinance.
There was not a substitute bill that I'm aware of.
It was forwarded to the council as a substitute bill. It said at the top of the bill, substitute bill.
On 3828.
No, it's not on here.
It added the special exception.
Okay, it's not on here.
We added it.
Councilman Davis, did you see a substitute bill come for this?
No, I haven't seen a substitute bill for anything like that. Was I supposed to? I checked my email earlier, I didn't see that. It wasn't on my email.
I see it. I see it.
You see it?
I see it.
Okay.
Was it sent to us? Is this proper? That what we voted on out of committee for this meeting?
It actually came as a substitute bill at committee, and I kind of forgot that it was a substitute bill till we got here. I think I'll defer to,
You just have to make a motion to accept the substitute, but I don't think any
correct.
of us has
I
read
believe
the
we can
substitute.
proceed as long as there's a motion to accept.
Right.
Yeah, but none of us have read the substitute, that's the
We
problem.
haven't read. Mhm.
What's different?
So the difference is the special exception was added for the conversion from a single family to a three-family. So our U2 district, if you're converting an existing home, you also have to have a special exception to convert it. That was all that was added, that special exception was added in there. It was also outlined in our staff report as the special exception, so
So we just need to accept the substitute.
if the council, yeah, hopefully the
you know,
council.
Excuse me, I don't want to get too many people.
Sorry.
Too many. So,
Yeah.
at this point, Attorney Palmer, could you please clarify for all of us what we need to do so that the audience and everybody is clear?
I'm just gonna ask for a 5-minute recess so we can even read the bill. I don't think it'd be responsible on our end just to like listen and then move forward.
Is
with
that a
this
motion?
Yeah, I can make a motion, a motion for a 5-minute recess, please.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Clerk Jones, could you please call the roll for a 5-minute recess?
Yes. Councilmember Warner,
Aye.
Councilmember White,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomas Morgan, Councilmember Hammond,
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski,
Aye.
Councilmember Davis, Councilmember Lee.
Aye.
7 ayes.
We are in recess for 5 minutes.
Are you able to forward that, or would you like me to?
I don't have the substitute bill.
She said, I have it. She forwarded, did you just forward it to me or
Forwarded it to
to everybody? Okay. Everybody has it. That's what I'm looking. That's what I'm going to print up right now.
Have you all had an opportunity to look over?
Yes, it was emailed to us.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't have any questions. Lori, you're muted.
She doesn't have any.
Thank you. I have no questions.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept substitute bill 3822.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion, and it's been seconded to accept the substitute bill, 38-22. Clerk Jones, could you please call the roll?
Yes. Councilmember White,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond,
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski,
Aye.
Councilmember Davis, Councilmember Lee,
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Thank you. The substitute bill has been accepted.
Sorry for the confusion, I'll continue. So
No worries.
There-
I'm sorry about the confusion
No,
on
that's
our
okay.
end. We
I-
was not aware there was a substitute bill. So please continue. We
Yep.
appreciate your,
I forgot to include that this afternoon. So the rezoning is for the U2. The special exception comes in when you have an existing structure. This was the clause that we added to the zoning ordinance to make sure that existing single-family homes weren't improperly kind of cut up when not appropriate in the U2 district. So this is what we call the conversion clause of the ordinance. I know it's very important in this neighborhood. At the time they filed, that wasn't something we were kind of thinking about, and that's why the special exception got added before it went to the Plan Commission. So everything's been properly advertised. The petitioner is not proposing any changes to the structure. It already exists in the configuration to which they're selling it. Any additional conversion, like if they try to add the fourth unit or whatever, would require them to come back before the council to amend that special exception. So I just wanted to make sure that that was on the record, that everybody knew they couldn't continue to kind of divide this up any further than it is without a public process. This comes to you from the Plan Commission with a favorable recommendation, subject to a code inspection, which I believe the property owners agreed to. I'd be happy to answer any questions. And the petitioner is present.
Petitioner, would you like to add any comments?
I believe I talked this afternoon about it, Talia. The only thing she mentioned, the city requested an inspection. The inspections have been done. 2 units are approved, and there are a couple minor items that are completed, so it needs to be re-inspected. My name is Stephen J. Eddy, 23600 Roosevelt Road, South Bend, Indiana, 46614.
All right. Council members, do you have any questions for the petitioner?
No.
Any of the council members virtually, do you have any questions? Okay.
No.
At this time, we'll go to the public hearing portion. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor of substitute bill 38-22?
I'm checking. There is no one from the virtual public that is expressing interest to speak in favor of Bill 3822.
Is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition of substitute bill 38-22?
There is no one from the virtual public that is expressing interest to speak in opposition of Bill 3822.
At this point, the public hearing on substitute bill 38-22 is now closed. Council members, would you like to make any statements?
I wouldn't, Mr. Lee.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Eddy, for coming twice today, and thank you for taking the time and the effort and the patience to go ahead and get this done properly and zoned properly, and for your investment in the community. Thank you for that.
Any other council members?
Mr. Lee, if I could make a statement?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Eddy, I too just want to thank you for the superb stewardship that you've done with this home and in the neighborhood. And sorry to lose you as the landlord and landowner, but trust that you're passing it on to good hands.
Anyone else? I would just like to say a thank you, Mr. Eddy, for maintaining this property since 1983. I think that's what you said earlier. And again, these types of housing situations are always good for the community. With it already being made into a place for 3 people. A lot of the big issues is finding places where people can get a 1-bedroom, and so by you selling it and it going to continue to be used as a multi-purpose family dwelling, thank you, and we wish you the best. At this time, I will now entertain a motion regarding substitute bill 38-22. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to send substitute bill 3822 to the full council with favorable recommendation.
Second.
Clerk Jones, could you please call the roll on substitute bill 38-22?
Yes. Councilmember White,
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond,
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski,
Aye.
Councilmember Davis, Councilmember Lee,
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
7 ayes.
All right. Substitute Bill 38-22 will be sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation. I will now entertain a motion to rise from the committee of the whole and report back to the full council.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk Jones, please take the roll.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond,
Aye.
Vice President Nitzkowski,
Aye.
Councilmember Davis, Councilmember Lee,
Aye.
Councilmember Warner,
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
7 ayes.
All right, the motion carries. We are now back in the hands of Vice President Sheila Nagowski.
Thank you. The full council is now back in session. This is the portion of the meeting where bills are given a third reading and action is taken regarding bills that were heard during the committee of the whole. Clerk Jones, would you please, I guess I can also mention that bills 3022 and 3622 are both tabled, which leaves one bill, that would be substitute bill 3822. Clerk Jones, could you please give that a third reading?
Yes. 3822, third reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the zoning ordinance for property located at 232 LaPorte Avenue, Councilmanic District Number 1, in the City of South Bend, Indiana.
Thank you. Councilman Lee, is there a recommendation for the committee of the whole regarding the bill?
Yes, substitute Bill 38-22 is sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. I'll now entertain a motion regarding the bill.
I'd like to make a motion that substitute bill 38-22 will be adopted by the council.
Second.
There's been a motion, it's been duly seconded. Clerk Jones, could you please call the roll?
Yes. Councilmember Hammond,
Aye.
Vice President Nitzkowski,
Aye.
Councilmember Davis. Aye. Councilmember Lee,
Aye.
Councilmember Warner,
Aye.
Councilmember White,
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Thank you. Bill 38-22 has passed. We'll now move on to resolutions. This is the portion of the council meeting where the Common Council hears bills filed as proposed resolutions. The title of each proposed resolution is read by the city clerk. A report from the committee chairperson of the standing committee to which the bill was referred to for advisory review and recommendations is then given. This also requires a public hearing. So Resolution 22-41, Clerk Jones, could you please read the title of the resolution?
Yes, 2241, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, confirming the adoption of a declaratory resolution designating certain areas within the City of South Bend, Indiana, commonly known as 505 South Michigan Street, South Bend, Indiana, 46601, as an economic revitalization area for purposes of an 8-year mixed-use real property tax abatement for the Monroe LLC.
Thank you, Clerk Jones. Councilwoman Tomas Morgan, is there a committee report?
Yes, Vice President. Bill 2241 came to community investment this afternoon and comes to the council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you, and I see we have a presenter. Your name
Good
and
e-
address, please. Hello?
Good evening, council members. Caleb Bauer, Acting Executive Director of the Department of Community Investment, with offices on the 14th floor of this building. Before you tonight is the confirming resolution for the Monroe development at the former Fat Daddy's site. This is a mixed-use development that would be, we're proposing receiving an 8-year abatement, and this is to support a tax credit proposal to the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority for this project. This is a commitment of $13.9 million in investment if the project were to move forward. And the proposed project is a 4-story, 65,000 square foot mixed-use and multifamily building. It would include some retail elements on the first floor and apartment units on portions of the first floor, and then second, third, and fourth floors. And I believe I shared this in committee, but it would include a majority of the units would be income qualified at different levels, and then 14 of the units would be market rate apartments. And I think that's all I have, if you have any questions.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Is there any questions from the council regarding the presentation? Any members? No? And I don't see anyone online? Okay, then we're going to move then to the public portion. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor of Resolution 22-41?
There is no one from the virtual public expressing interest to speak in favor of Resolution 2241.
Okay, is there anyone wishing to speak against?
There is no one from the virtual public expressing interest to speak against Resolution 2241.
Okay, thank you. We're going to come back to the council members. Any comments? Seeing none, is there a motion in regards to Bill 22-41?
I would like to move for passage, adoption.
Second.
Okay,
Second.
there's been a motion, and it's been duly seconded to move for adoption for Bill 22-41. Clerk Jones, could you please call the roll?
Yes. Vice President Niskoski,
Aye.
Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Lee,
Aye.
Councilmember Warner,
Aye.
Councilmember White,
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Thank you. Bill 22-41 has been adopted. Thank you, Mr. Bauer. Okay, we're going to move to bills that are on first reading. Clerk Jones, could you please give Bill 40-22 a first reading?
4022, first reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, approving a petition of the Advisory Board of Zoning Appeals for the property located at 1702 West Western Avenue, Councilmanic District Number 6, in the City of South Bend, Indiana.
Thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion to send Bill 40-22 to zoning appeals for September the 9th and to Z&A Committee and Council for public hearing and third reading on September the 12th.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Clerk Jones, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Lee,
Aye.
Councilmember Warner,
Aye.
Councilmember White,
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond,
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Thank you. The motion has passed. Clerk Jones, could you please give Bill 41-22 a first reading?
4122, first reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the zoning ordinance for property located at 1345 North Michigan Street, Councilmanic District Number 4, in the City of South Bend, Indiana.
Thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion to send Bill 41-22 to zoning appeals on September 19th and to Z&A Committee and Council for public hearing and third reading on September the 26th.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and duly seconded. Clerk Jones, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Lee,
Aye.
Councilmember Warner,
Aye.
Councilmember White,
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond,
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski,
Aye.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Thank you. The bill has passed, or the motion has passed, rather. Moving on, Clerk Jones, could you please give Bill 42-22 a first reading?
4222, first reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, replacing and amending Chapter 2, Article 1, Sections 2-1 through and including 2-9 of the South Bend Municipal Code to update and clarify procedures for the South Bend Common Council in the office of the city clerk.
Thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion to send Bill 42-22 to the Rules Committee and the Council for public hearing and third reading on September the 12th.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Clerk Jones, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Warner,
Aye.
Councilmember White,
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond,
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski,
Aye.
Councilmember Davis, Councilmember Lee.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Thank you. The motion has passed. Clerk Jones, could you please give Bill 43-22 a first reading?
4322, first reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending various articles and sections of Chapter 17 of the South Bend Municipal Code to address late fees for city utility customers and renaming the Low-Income Customer Assistance Program as the Utility Assistance Program.
Thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion to send Bill 43-22 to the Personal and Finance Committee and for council for public hearing and third reading on September the 12th.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and duly seconded. Clerk Jones, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember White?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomas Morgan?
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond?
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski?
Aye.
Councilmember Davis? Aye. Councilmember Lee?
Aye.
Councilmember Warner?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Thank you, Clerk Jones. The motion has passed. So that's all of our first reading bills. Moving on to unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business? Seeing none, we're going to move on to new business. I would like to offer that Zoe Tembo has been our public relations intern, and this is her last day. She's going to be attending Loyola University of Maryland in Baltimore, and we wish you all the best of luck as you pursue your higher education. Is there any other council members that would like to say anything under new business? No. Councilman
Vice
Lee?
President,
Mhm.
yes, I just want to say, we look forward to seeing great things from Zoe. She's done a remarkable job, over the summer, and I really hate that I'm not there in person. But we wish you the very best, and hopefully once you get your education, you'll come back to South Bend or over the summers and come back and continue to work with us, because you did a great job.
Clerk Jones?
Yes. I would just like to thank Zoe for being in the clerk's office. We enjoyed her. I will miss seeing her every morning, and but I wish you all the best as you go to school. Thank you.
Thank you. And we do wish you all the best of luck, Zoe. Okay, moving on, we're going to move on to the privilege of the floor. Before we go into the privilege of the floor, I'd like to read a statement that disrespectful, rude, or disruptive speech or actions will not be tolerated. Such speech and/or actions, as well as verbal attacks on any person, may result in an individual without notice forfeiting the remainder of his or her allotted time. Individuals who wish to address the council must state their name and residential address. Individuals will be limited to 3 minutes only. The maximum time for this portion of the meeting shall be 30 minutes. Individuals shall not be permitted to address topics which the council has heard previously on the agenda. The council president may assign a topic raised by an individual during the privilege of the floor to the appropriate council member and/or request the city clerk to contact a member of the city administration for review, and topics assigned shall be responded to at the next scheduled meeting. Is there anyone present wishing to speak on the privilege of the floor? Sir, if you would please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Joseph Jones. My residential address is 1302 Woodfield Avenue in South Bend, Indiana. It's nice to see everybody from the council this evening. I am here to address a bill that went through the council earlier this year. Bill 22-12, Resolution 4947-22. Simplest way I understood this bill was this was addressing loss of funds to the city of South Bend and other such cities, should there be adjustments made in Indianapolis to the business and personal property taxes. What I would like to say in regards to that is this. During the period of 2019 through 2021, which encompassed the height of the COVID pandemic, I worked at a couple of different jobs which were on the road. One was as a delivery driver with a company. I went to places like Allen County, Vanderburgh County, DeKalb County, Noble County, cities like Fort Wayne and New Haven, Graybill, Evansville, Highland, Auburn, Garrett, Kendall, Ligonier, places in LaGrange County for that matter, places in counties in Michigan even. But for the purposes of Indiana, those places, in my opinion, we should not be looking to those places through programs like the business and personal property tax program at the state level to generate the revenue we need in a city like South Bend, or any other city for that matter, be it Gary, East Chicago. I would say the same thing if I lived there and was addressing those councils. Those places don't owe us anything any more than we owe them anything. I understand the concept of cities, counties working cooperatively. If any members of the council, Mr. Warner is actually my council representative, if anybody on the council would like to, at some time other than here, there's not enough time here. I've got an idea, proposal, whatever you want to call it, that I believe it would take time to implement. It wouldn't be something that you can snap your fingers and it would happen. But I believe there are people in the city of South Bend, inside and outside of the government structure, that would know how to implement it, who may have even heard of it before, that has to do with taxation and how taxation is done, how taxation is collected, that in the long haul would generate the same, if not more, revenue than we have historically or are currently receiving through funds coming from downstate through the business and personal property tax.
15 seconds, sir.
Thank you very much, and I will conclude my comments there.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else wishing to speak under the privilege of the floor?
There is no one from the virtual audience that is expressing interest to speak on the privilege of the floor.
Thank you. Then if there is no other business, we stand adjourned.
We can do it right now. So this is, we go into the share drive.
Thank you, Zoe. Good luck.
Thank you.